The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on
This is
Sunday.
about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up! Giddy up! Breaker, breaker, this is Rubber Ducky. Come on in there, breaker, breaker.
Howdy, little buddy.
I need a radio check on this here Mickey Mouse rig. What's your 1023?
My 20 little ducky is, I'm riding down the big slab here. I got eyes on a big bear as well, and I think I might be in a little trouble because I got a little black eye on this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 10-4 there, good buddy. I'm 1069 all the way to Ottawa.
We're going to be
Trucker
all the
for
way
Trudeau.
down to, we're all the way down to Ottawa. We're joining the convoy.
I just did that whole thing without my trucker hat on.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. I can't believe I just
Guns
did that whole
up, giddy
thing.
up, everybody. Welcome to the Failure to Stop show. We can't stop. Guys,
Won't stop.
we won't stop. I don't care what you say. Even if the U.S. government tries to stop you, we'll get into that later. Today's show, we've got some fun stuff happening. A big old news roundup. We've been having some guests and other things going on lately. We did that big breakdown last week. What an episode last week. If you guys missed it, go back to the hostage breakdown from the synagogue in Texas. What an episode. Amazing guests. And if you're behind on the show and you're like, I need to catch up, if you can only choose one episode to catch up on, guys, make it last week's episode. Awesome time. Can't wait to see those guys again and hear from them. On today's show, we're just going to be talking about the trucker convoy, for freedom. And then we're going to get into a bunch of other news stories around the country. Live in the chat. We are live on my YouTube channel and Facebook, and it will be where podcasts are available after that. In the chat is Adric George, who says we are government pigs. So the show is off to a big old happy start today. We've got some fans in the chat, so I'm excited. How are you, Tansey?
Man, it's been a rough few 12, 24 hours. Had a dude come in last night to the old distillery and passed right the F out. Head smashed into the concrete. Hadn't even had a drink. Hadn't even had a drink yet, a proper drink, and fell out. And it was they took him to the hospital. Found out he had too much pre-workout and coffee with no water. And luckily we had a whole table full of EMS guys. Then I got up at 5:30 this morning to an overflowing poopy toilet. I actually had shit on the hairs of my arms because I was so down in that toilet trying to get it unplugged before it leaked.
Don't you have a plunger? Why are you using your hand?
Dude, the plunger wasn't working and the flapper thing was jacked up or something.
Wait a second.
The whole toilet
Wait a
imploded.
second. So your toilet is clogged.
Yeah. Shit
and
everywhere.
instead of just driving to the local store to get a plunger because you don't have
I have one. I have one. I plunged the shit out of that thing. I have cramps in my arms.
Do you know how to use a plunger?
Yeah, it wasn't working, man. I had to get the
So you just
snake out of the
reached
shed.
your hand in?
No, I got a coat hanger, and I was trying to get a coat hanger down in there to see.
You
what
were
was
doing
going
a
on.
shit abortion, a back alley shit abortion. What was going on over there?
My wife was sitting on the toilet at the time, and I grabbed the old coat hanger and got to work.
I don't know what. I don't know who Linda is. But this is so funny.
Rest in peace, my fourth child.
The chat is out of control, guys. If you never watch us live, the chat is just something else. It's its own animal. The chat is its own show. There should be a failure to stop chat, and it just should be a replay of the chat. That's all. That's what it should be. It'd be great.
What did I miss in the live chat?
Linda's talking about truckers being unreliable, and somebody else says, "You don't know shit, Linda. Shut up," or something. I don't know.
You dumb son of a bitch.
Oh my gosh. This show, as always, is brought to you by our flagship sponsor, Ghostbed. Tell them about it, Tansey.
Oh, we love Ghostbed. They've been a loyal sponsor of this shit wagon, literally. For almost 6 years now. Everyone rants and raves about them. They have super comfortable mattresses that last forever and ever and ever and ever and ever And they're made in the good old USA. For Trudeau. Every mattress has 20-year warranty. Some even have 25. If you can try it out for 101 nights, not 98, not 99. If you don't like it, you can even send it back. No hard feelings, but you won't. One of our favorite parts about Ghostbed is that each mattress has that cooling technology in it, so that if you get hot at night, like we do here in the summers in North Carolina, you can stay cool. Stay hard while staying cool. That's my motto. Ghostbed also offers bundles so that you can get everything you need. You don't have to really think about it. Just choose from their 4 mattresses and pick your bundle. Whether you just need a mattress and a frame or you want it all. I want it all. I want it all. Like their cooling pillows and sheets, you can get the best bang for your buck. Right now, Ghostbed is offering 40% off Ghostbed bundles where you get a mattress and adjustable base, or 30% off of everything if you use the code Drinkin' Bros. That's DRINKIN Bros at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. You can buy a mattress for like $35 a month, 0 down, 0% financing. That's if you have firefighter credit, in fact. So go check out ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. Listen. You look so much better having owned a Ghostbed. Like literally every week, you're getting younger.
I look better and better. I feel better and better. Dude, my Ghostbed, I absolutely am in love with that thing, dude.
I'm so jealous.
I sleep like a freaking baby every night. It's amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Be sure to take the quiz. If you guys get a Ghostbed, take the quiz. That's what I did on their website. So that there's so many choices, dude. It's like a bed. When I was a kid, if you wanted a bed, you just you got a bed. There was it. There was 2 kinds: toddler beds or people beds, regular people beds.
My favorite place to find beds when I was a kid was my parents would be like, "Oh, it's time for a new bed, honey," and we would go to the apartment complexes down the road and shop through the dumpsters, and pick out a nice one. You know?
Yeah, and so I took the quiz and it said we should be like a medium. I don't know. So I went with a medium. It was a Ghostbed Flex, and it's freaking awesome, dude.
How many times a week do you have sex? Only 3? Well, then you're gonna get
weekly.
the medium.
That's like biannually. I don't
biannually.
know. What is it?
You know what? You know what could fix that, Mike? You know what could fix that?
What?
Manscaped.
What? We're doing another ad read right now?
Let's just get it out.
Oh my gosh, we're going deep. Guys, listen.
Deep.
We found balls deep.
Balls deep.
Balls
so
deep. It's like the guy from Halo. Balls deep.
Balls deep. I've been so excited about this ad read since they sent us the package 4.0, which
I've been a Manscaped 4.0 user for like a year now.
So was there like a 3.0 and a 2.0?
I don't know. I've only been a 4.0 user.
Or we just skip right to 4.0.
I got the lawnmower 4.0. Boy, I mow the lawn. All right.
Dude, when it's advertised on the box as a
and I do it in the dark just because it has a flashlight on it.
Yeah, the 4,000K
So I purposely
LED
turn the lights off just to see what it's like to shave my balls in the dark because it's just fun.
It just says in big bold letters, 4,000K LED spotlight that will shine a light to the promised land.
It shines. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
it carves the way through the darkness. You know, like in Jurassic Park, when the one guy that was on Seinfeld, Newman, he was driving through the dark rain, and he's trying to escape. That's me trying to knock down my man hair with the lawnmower.
That's a vivid picture.
Yeah. I just want you to picture it. Trying to make my way through a dark forest.
I literally got our package in the mail for our package. Like at the beginning of January, so that we could, try it all out to make sure that we liked it. You were already sold because you've been a Manscaped endorser for a while now, I guess, right?
Yeah, man, I'm a believer. I'm a user.
A user and a believer.
Yeah.
And so I just couldn't wait. And then they sent the ad read over to us, and I was even more excited. So, I mean, I'll just say, let's get our balls wet.
First of all, the reason that manscaping is important is because you never know how someone is going to recall their experience with you.
Yeah.
Can we cue up this lady's testimony?
You want the whole thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
You want the whole thing?
It's literally a testimony.
Yeah, it's literally a testimony in church of a changed life due to Manscaped.
Listen up.
That last part is made up entirely by me.
Here we go.
But nonetheless.
Drunk from school, laying up with men. out there prostituting, having oral sex with my mouth. Oh no. Licking in balls.
I hope they were Manscaped. Cheers to 2022 and resolutions you can actually keep. How about having clean and shiny balls all year round? Our sponsors at Manscaped are here to save your balls this year and make your balls drop into 22 the cleanest and sexiest ever. Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide, just like Mike the Cop, with Manscaped. This exclusive officer, with our exclusive offer, go to manscaped.com and use the promo code Wolfpack for 20% off and free shipping inside the Performance Package 4.0. You'll find the signature Lawnmower 4.0, which is way better than 3.0 and 2.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin. You're like, Mike, that skin's real loose. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate nuts. It also comes equipped with a 4,000 LED spotlight that will shine a light to the promised land, baby. A grooming routine isn't complete without applying crop preserver, which is different than crop duster, and crop reviver before showing off your 2022 self. This unique formulation take care of the smelliest part of your body and are a big boost to your confidence this year. You don't want your balls smelling like cheese, boys.
That Lawnmower 4.0 goes spelunking in the nether regions of
you'll end up in the nutty putty cave down there. To complete the set.
Tansey's personal putty cave.
Dude, my shame cave.
The best comment was somebody
I'm crying.
Was a testimony.
A testimony.
This is a testimony. Yes, yes.
I'm crying, guys. I'm crying. Literally.
But the new products that they need no introduction. The Ultra Premium Body Wash from Manscaped solves all three of the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine. But in the shower, I shower every day and hope you do too. But this body wash smells great. It's got cologne infused with aloe vera, sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. Kick discomfort and poor hygiene to the curb this year and use the best tools for the job because you never know when they're going to be licking on them balls. Whether your resolution
I was doing oral with my mouth.
What else do you do oral
How else do you do oral? I don't know.
With my butthole. Be sure to travel to manscaped.com for our exclusive offer, 20% off. Use that promo code Wolfpack. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Wolfpack at manscaped.com. This is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use that promo code Wolfpack. It's a new year. No pubes in 2022 with Manscaped.
Dude.
Gosh, I challenge you to find another podcast with better ad reads.
Licking these balls.
Wait, was that actual audio or was that an impersonation?
No, that was audio.
Oh my gosh.
Me.
Oh, that was you.
Licking these balls.
Golly.
Oh my gosh. Guys, thank you to the Wolfpack. We give you these codes. That's how if you want to support the show, support our sponsors. Oh my gosh. I can't stop. The chat is out of control today, man. It is its own show.
I wonder if Laszlo Lopez uses Manscaped.
Never. He's all natural. I feel like he's just like, you got to like navigate the forest to get anywhere.
I feel like it's got to match. He's got to manscape it to match the hair on top. You know what I mean? Like a mullet, like a flowing mullet down his bowels.
Yeah, a bullet. A buttlet. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Okay.
A stream of hair from the balls all the way through your butt crack.
Yeah, every time he farts, it's like a fan for a rock star on stage.
They call it the Mississippi mud flap.
Licking his balls.
That's and so begins the repertoire of drops that we'll have for future shows.
We just need to add that to the intro where it's all serious. So like, cops are plugging out, blah, 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 licking these balls.
Oh my gosh. All right. Wolfpack, thank you so much for always tuning in and listening, being the loyal pack that you are with the show. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you when you support our sponsors. FailureToStop.com. It was a shit show with our merch last year. We dropped that. I'm working on a solution for that for us. So stay tuned. Hopefully, our merch store will be back up in February and up and running, so you can get good merch and you can actually get it, like on time and it doesn't suck. So we're working on that for you. But another great way to help us, honestly, if you aren't getting a Ghostbed yet or whatever, is to just go to Apple Podcast and drop a rating and a review. That helps the show grow more than anything else. So thank you if you can do that. So what do we got as review-wise real quick to just acknowledge people dropping those in for us, and then we'll get into the news together. 5 stars. The Jeff Teacher 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 says, love listening to the podcast during my school lunch break. I love being able to listen to a cop side of the story. Wait, is he a teacher or a student?
He's going to be sitting in school just cracking up. People are going to be like, what are you laughing at? Let me listen to that real quick. And it's like, licking on them balls. Like, oh my God, you're fired.
Flalio Pan says, Ghostbed, staying hard while keeping cool. 5 stars. These guys are hilarious, amazing show. Thank you.
I think we get more comments about our ad reads than we do like our regular podcast. Man. So maybe we should just have a little podcast where we do
maybe we should just be a giant ad read.
Ads.
Like we just do ads the whole time.
We're like an infomercial podcast. Next up, Manscaped.
That's awesome. That's a good idea. Let's niche down into that. What's the last review here? Wheel 2 says, refreshing, 5 stars. Glad to enjoy a podcast that isn't afraid to tell it like it is. So tired of the politically correct mob forcing their crap on me like Tansey's toilet. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
thing was all Trudeau'd.
All right, guys, let's get into this. What is going on in the Freedom Convoy? I'll tell you what I know about it. I know that supposedly I've heard anywhere from 100 trucks to a line of trucks that spans 150 miles.
I heard Joe Rogan say 50,000.
I don't. The numbers, quite honestly, from what I've seen, are all over the place. I don't know how to ascertain the truth about this just yet. I've had people DMing me like, hey, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. Problem is, there was a whole group, like 600,000 either group or page on Facebook dedicated to this convoy, this concept of the Freedom Convoy or whatever. Facebook nuked the group. It's gone, right? Yeah. They took it down.
Like they nuked Drinking Bros. It got too big, too influential is what they said.
Yeah, too crazy. So whatever is going on, I don't know if you guys in the chat speak up about what you know. Jimmy had like a ton of information. Like I don't know what he was saying. He was on a soapbox before we went live. I want him to get back on that soapbox for us. But what scares me about this from a freedom standpoint, from people who, and a lot of people sometimes think we're getting political when we get into this. But here's the deal: when Tansey and I raised our hands and got sworn in, we swore to uphold and defend the Constitution. And so there is an aspect of law enforcement officers being committed to protecting people's rights. Now, this is in Canada, our brothers to the north, and they've taken a lot of flack for enforcing different mandates or not enforcing mandates. The whole career is split up there among officers. It's nuts, but this is important because it's related to exactly what's going on here in our own country, and freedom is important as an important aspect to protect our rights, and cops are a vital part of that. At least I believe that. Do you agree or disagree, Tansey?
I mean, I agree. I think I was talking to some Australian police officers this week. We got some patches in the mail, by the way. I'll bring that up on my phone here later and give a shout out. But they brought up a good point, is that like they don't have a constitution like we do, so they have to abide by the police law, and they're not going against any kind of constitution. Where here, I think that's where my opinion differs. And I know that you and I have expressed our frustrations with Australian police, but in the same light, they didn't swear an oath that we swore. Correct. So they're actually doing a duty that is separate from what our duty is here. And so you kind of have to look at that with an open mind, even though I feel it's wrong. I feel like, things that happened in Germany were probably wrong way back in the day, even though that was their political climate or their culture, whatever it was at the time. But I think here in the United States, it's different because we have a constitutional obligation to uphold that oath, So
Yeah. What's scary to me is that Trudeau, when talking about this, he ended up basically saying that there's a small contingent, right? He's minimizing what's going on. And
fringe minority.
Yeah, this fringe minority.
Which I have a problem with that as well. But I'll digress.
And he says something that was really scary. And it was something, and I don't have the exact quote. I was just trying to find it. But I watched the clip in context where he talks about these opinions being invalid almost. Like the small fringe minority people who are on the way to Ottawa who are they're holding unacceptable views. Why would the leader of a country say that people who disagree with them, basically Trudeau is saying, if you don't believe exactly like I believe or the narrative that we are pressing onto you as a country, your view is unacceptable.
I think that
we're not tolerant of any other views. How is that the bastion of hope and tolerance?
This is the same Trudeau, the same guy who, if you watched his ethics committee trial or case back July 2020, when he went before the ethics commission, where he violated 2 pretty egregious ethics violations, watch this guy speak. This is the same Trudeau. And let me be honest with you. One, that's not his real hair color. Okay. That's not his real hair color. And if there was ever a villain that you have seen in a comic book or in a comic book hero movie, the villain, if Trudeau doesn't match that exactly, I don't know what else. He is the perfect villain in every comic book. He looks like a villain. But when you
he
watch
does look like a villain, and Lightfoot is like an ancillary evil character in that universe.
And then he wears makeup, which is weird. I always think is weird. I know a lot of these guys do. A lot of celebrities do it. It's fine. It's great. But I mean, at some point, you're kind of overdoing it. And that guy's definitely overdoing it. But if you watched that case for the ethics committee in July, and the way that they bounced around the questions and just didn't answer them, it really shows you kind of where these guys, where they're at on their pedestal in their own brains. Like, I'm better than you. I can talk in circles. I'm not going to answer this question, even though they are in a court. And even though this is a structured hearing, he's not going to answer the questions. And then he's going to toy with almost a smug smile on his face. And I think if you watch that, and you can Google it, it's very simple. Just type in Justin Trudeau ethics case, and you can see the case. And just that smug smile on his face, it's villainous.
And imagine in our country, we at least, thank God for now at least, who knows what will happen on the Supreme Court next. We can talk about that too. Within like 5 minutes of Justice Breyer saying that he's going to retire, it's already announced that the next one's going to be a black female without any reference to their actual constitutional law knowledge. It's just, hey, we're going to pick the right gender and the right race to make people happy.
The Constitution says that when you're voting on anything, or if you're electing any officials, that you can choose their race and their gender.
Yeah, but right? Thank God here, because make no mistake, our politicians and Canadians' politicians have the same goal, and that is to retain their own power, their own position, their own influence, to line their own pockets at the cost expense of both the physical well-being, the mental well-being, the financial well-being of its people. They are nothing but leeches sucking on the teat of the people, and that is exactly what's happening. And if you disagree with them, literally out loud, they are saying your opinion is invalid. Like, you're wrong because you don't think like us. All while being couched under the concept of tolerance, freedom. They redefine tolerance and freedom, and then when you are tolerant and when you do differ, then you're on the outs because you don't line up with their new definition. Words don't make sense anymore. So, Jimmy, what do you have any idea? What look have you done? You were, like I said, you were on this soapbox. Hop back on it. Educate me and Eric on what the hell's going on in Canada with this convoy.
It's what's going on in Canada is far beyond just Canada. Canada is just being picked on. Like, so the media is going to grab something that has a good narrative that they can spin. And with this, similar to last week when we were talking about how they were trying to bundle in right-wing right-wing conservatives as extremists, they're trying to take these truckers as, well, they're going to spin this, I promise you, as, oh, here's the shortage. Here's the national disruption. These truckers aren't doing their job.
Well, they already have. I mean, he's saying that your shortage is directly a result of truckers not getting vaccinated and calling in sick.
So the shortage itself is that these mandates prevent a fluid, travel and delivery of things. And these truckers are saying, look, we don't have to do this. So they're coming through and these truckers are going up there. No, even the truckers are getting up there saying this is about freedom, this is about this is about that. Really what it's all about is we're still not addressing the beginning of this whole thing where it's all a spun up lie, right? So these truckers right now, ultimately what there's the issue with how many are there is that people are signing up to go but not going. Right now there's about 40-ish miles of trucks, about a 2.5 hour long time it would take for the convoy to get through a town. And people are just joining more and more and more. But these truckers are upset because with everything that's going on, they're just trying to do their job. This national disruption, the shortage of supply chain issues that they're trying to address based on a vaccine mandate that's causing, from a statistical standpoint, people are 60% of people are behind the overall cost of living. 60% of people in America cannot afford to live by normal means. We have media distrust where they're saying the fringe minority.
Well, yeah, and he expounded on that quite a bit in his most recent speech.
So 90% of
this
people,
isn't Canada.
Yeah. 90% of people, of truckers, he said. So 90% of truckers are vaccinated. So it's just this small 10%. And 90% of the population are vaccinated. So it's just this small fringe minority of people. And again, we're being fed all this to say, well, it's not the vaccine's problem. We just need to come together and get the vaccine done. From the very beginning of this, we said the China virus. Remember that? Misinformation? And they said it's not the China virus. That's racist. Well, China's not a race. It's a nationality. Turns out that was true, right? So misinformation. And then they said it came from a wet market. No, yeah. Turns out
it came from a lab.
Trump said, no. This was deployed. They pushed this out. It was created. Well, it turns out they were right. Fauci, Fauci, the same guy in the 80s that told us that kids could catch AIDS from breath, from being spit on or coughed on.
Right.
The perpetuation of that. And then nobody's talking about like the detriment of that to like, we talk about, what AIDS epidemic did to Black society and these neighborhoods. Well, they perpetuated more information that was detrimental to those people in the 80s. So there's been misinformation that we're getting from this guy. All of that is culminating to like Justin Trudeau, who is guilty of taking vacations from the Shia imam leader, who's guilty of getting angry in parliament and elbowing a female in the breast, literally walking by her like an angry little boy and jamming his elbow into her chest because he was mad and saying, I'm only human and it's a tough job. The same guy that did that, the same guy that hasn't had to answer for anything, that is now getting on and saying that the people that are delivering goods across our continent, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
They just want to supply. Have you been to the grocery store?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing on the fucking shelves. Yeah. Like, I can't get a bag of fucking hash browns.
Yeah.
because these motherfuckers want to goddamn vaccinate you.
I took Jimmy to the store the other day. We had to pick up some supplies for the studio. And he's like, come here. Let's go over to the food section. I was like, I don't need any food. He's like, no, I want to show you something. I was like, I don't want to see it, dude. I want to get in here. I want to get the shit. I want to get out. He's like, no, come in here really quick. And he takes me all the way back to the freezer section. And I'm like, where are we going? He's like, look, not one fucking bag of hash browns.
The only reason I know that, I was in there, I walked around the corner and this dude's on the phone. He was being funny. He's like, baby, I'm opening this motherfucker. There ain't no hash browns. When did all these motherfuckers start eating hash browns? And he's like, oh shit, one bag. And he ran and grabbed it and took off.
Oh, God.
Well, man, it's hard to know what's going on because there is a lot of media misinformation. And if our media is corrupt, Canada's media is controlled, right? Like they're legit, like Canadian television. Like, in fact, there has to be on Canadian television, like they have a rule where X number of shows and content has to be original Canadian content or Canadian actors in the programming in order to even show it. And so they have a much more controlled media. And so it's hard to know what to believe. And I feel like this stuff is dangerous. Somebody brought up in the chat that this is like cops are being all talk. Like me and Tansey, obviously, we're former cops right now. But the whole concept of cops, we're all talk, no action. These cops are enforcing mandates. This is media misinformation, okay? There's a couple of misinformation pieces that are really important to understand on the state side that is very similar to what's going on with this trucking thing in Canada as far as how things are portrayed to people about what's really going on. So on the state side, law enforcement and this mandate stuff in all of our common drive for freedom is, first of all, a lot of stuff that you see coming out of New York City, for example, you see these clips all over the internet and they label it as cops remove family for being unvaccinated from a restaurant. That's a half truth. It's like saying that some guy was shot for not using a turn signal if that was the original reason for the stop, but then shit goes sideways. He wasn't killed because he didn't. It's not like cops says he didn't use a turn signal, let's kill him. That's not what happened. And the same thing is what's happening. I disagree with these mandates as well, like that are in New York City. But we have long-standing trespassing laws and we have private property. If someone on private property says get out and somebody doesn't get out, well then who do you call? You call the police because it's your property and we have private property rights in this country, and the police say, hey, they don't want you here, you got to get out. So it's kind of a half-truth that's going on. And second is that they choose to show this happening to further the idea of compliance. That's what they do. They show the cops that are enforcing these things, which are a minority, and they show them to further garner compliance and to give you the impression that the battle is unwinnable. 99% of cops in this country exist outside of these major areas where you're seeing this nonsense. And mask mandates and vax mandates have nothing, literally nothing to do with their day-to-day. They don't ever see it. They don't ever deal with it. They don't ever do it. Okay? You just don't see it. They don't show you that. And so you're living a lie. This is what I call, like, you hear the term libtards. There are conservatards. Oh. There are people who do the same exact thing that they accuse the left of, which is just wholesale swallowing information and then acting on it. You watch YouTube or you watch clips of shit and you watch headlines and you just buy into the same nonsense, and that's what they want. They want us to be divided when in reality the enemy is the tools like Trudeau on the news saying that if you differ in thought from them, you're invalid.
Can I share one more thing and then I'll shut up? So you guys familiar with Yuri Bezmenov? So Yuri Bezmenov was an ex-KGB guy, and I'm going to share this. There's a video of him on YouTube you need to watch, because in the 80s, he laid out the exact plan to disrupt the United States and the world. So this is to share this quote.
Yeah.
The basic purpose of subversion is to screw up the perception of reality of your enemy to such an extent that this does not perceive you as enemy, and your system, your civilization, and your ambitions appear to him as an alternative. You cannot subvert an enemy who does not want to be subverted. So Yuri laid out the fact of what would happen. The KGB plan, and this is the Russian KGB, right, back in the day, was to leverage media, leverage celebrities, leverage all of these things, similar to the downfall of Rome, when they start focusing on sport athletes as heroes, celebrities as heroes, and the media as like God almost, right?
Yeah.
So that is exactly what this guy laid out in the 80s to say, watch for this, because this is the plan to take you down. And like you said about the libtard, the republitard, whatever, it's like every one of those things, those words, like there's no such thing as a liberal. There's no such thing as a conservative. Those are all groups that were created, just like the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins, so that two groups of people
Washington
can fight. Washington, yeah. God, I you know what? Imagine if you're a sports fan and you actually have the fucking, you're that much of an idiot that you would say that. Oh, guys, they're not the Washington Redskins anymore. It's the Washington football team. Like, imagine there's real people out there that are like that. Like, you're that fucking stupid. Like, but yeah. So if you don't know who that cat is, and you need to look him up, because just watching the news, just thinking that any of this is like that, you should have been a fucking blow off in Laszlo Lopez's sock behind the tool shed.
Oof. Dude, and cops need to be aware of this too. You need to be aware of it. Everyone needs to be aware of it. Guys, you got to wake up. Like, this is not, this whole thing isn't, they push us to appear as though speaking common sense is a conspiracy theory. This is not like, we're just speaking in plain language here. It's out in the open for anyone who wants to sit here and look at it. You're being told that if you disagree with the government, your opinion is invalidated. And that is just not true. Some opinions are invalid because they're not based in reality. They're not logically consistent. They're not practical. There's a whole lot of reasons your opinion might actually be invalid, but simply on its face, they're saying if you disagree with us, you're a fringe and you're invalid. And too bad, so sad. And they thrive on that. And we can't let that come to us. Okay? Thank God we have the Supreme Court that blocked our leadership from being able to just wholesale we have checks and balances. We have 3 branches of government for a reason. And thank God we do, because otherwise we'd be looking more like Canada than we do the United States. We got to get rid of this concept of the silent majority. Every cop needs to stand up for principles. Man, I didn't want to I don't want to just take this whole episode down this road because we got a lot of news to get to. But dude, ladies and gentlemen in law enforcement, you have to stand up. Don't DM me that you're a person of principle, but you've got mouths to feed. If you sacrificed your principles to feed mouths, you never had principles to begin with. Yeah. You're only driven by that base need, not by principles, not by character, right? Yeah. You've got to stand up. If you have a principle, stand up for it, speak for it, no matter what it costs you. If it costs you your cop job, it costs you your cop job. What would you rather your grandkids know about you, your kids know about you? That you bowed down because you had a different opinion and a different way of thinking? Or that you stood up no matter what? What is going to inspire us to stay committed to freedom? Yeah, I don't know, man.
I had a discussion last night with a guy. He was a Vietnam veteran, and he asked me about my company and how we're veteran owned and operated. And I said that my business partner is still active duty military, and he's got 19 years in, just tens of combat rotations, special operations his entire career. And just the real deal dude. And he's losing everything right now at 19 years because he's refusing to get the vaccine, and they're trying to take away his retirement.
This episode's going to get squashed so hard. It's amazing. But we got a lot of viewers, guys. We have like 532 people watching live right now. Welcome to the show. Thank you, by the way.
Yes. Welcome. And,
smash the like button.
Yeah. I just told him, that he's willing to give up his pension, for freedom. He's willing to give up his life for freedom. He's definitely willing to give up the pension. The guy goes, "Oh, what an idiot. He should just get the damn vaccine."
How ironic that you're in the military that defends, that's supposed to be defending freedom. And when someone wants it, they're criticized for wanting freedom, the very thing that they're supposed to be there for.
Yeah, it's like, what an idiot! Really, what an idiot! How about like, wow, that's a great stance. Like, that's a brave guy. Like, I'm glad that he cares so much about something in this world that he's willing to actually go the distance. He's not going out in the street and crying like a little baby and throwing things and burning things and spray things like a little baby, like a little whiny bitch. He's actually putting his freaking words where his money
he's
is.
Not throwing bricks through a building, lighting it on fire, and then stealing sneakers from Target.
He's actually giving up a $2 million retirement.
Yeah, exactly. Put your money where your mouth is. And that's regardless of whether this convoy is 50 trucks or 5 million trucks. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know who knows the answer. People that are on the ground that are actually physically seeing the convoy. I do not trust what I see on the media. I just don't. I don't know, especially if it's coming out of Canada. I don't know what to believe. I don't know where that is. But whether it's 50 or 5 million, 5,000, 50,000, whatever it is, God bless them, man. Like, good for them for drawing any level of attention. And I've heard that there are truckers. Now, there's still some limited restrictions because I live like 10 minutes from the Canadian border here, Windsor and Detroit. And So there's talk of United States truckers joining into this convoy, like supporting their Canadian brothers and sisters by crossing the border with their goods and then hopping into the convoy and making a statement. And I say, hey, good for them. Let's keep it going. Bertram says there are 50,000. So whatever it is, I support them, and we need more. We need more people like them. We need convoys in every industry across North America saying enough is enough. We say no. We say no. We want freedom. That's all. We're not telling you what to do. We're telling you you can't tell us everything that we can do.
I mean, imagine if firefighters were this brave.
Stood up across the country. A convoy of fire trucks. Staging. They would have to stage, though. The cops would have to go in and make sure everything was squared away first, and then they could come in and celebrate their freedom. Hey, speaking of freedom and governments, the underpaid producer woke me up the other day. I was in Arizona on a trip.
So woke.
So woke. I got woke. I got woken up. Okay. So I'm in Arizona, and we posted last week's episode. Again, we mentioned this early on. Last week we did an episode we did a whole breakdown on the synagogue hostage situation in Texas. So we had a terrorism expert, the terrorist whisperer, on the show, and I wake up to a text from the underpaid producer saying, "You'll never believe what happened, like, to the show, basically. Call me when you get this." Like,
well, let me stop you there, because I had called him. I had called Elijah and said, "Yo, homie, why did you delete our shit on YouTube? Or why did you edit it?" Like, all grumpy because I hadn't finished my cup of coffee. He's like, "I didn't do anything." So then I called Jimmy and I'm like, "Dude, why would you mess with our YouTube channel?" And he's like, "I did." And I was like, "Well, now I'm embarrassed."
So UPP, catch us up on what you discovered. Here's the question.
Eric.
No, it wasn't, because I don't know. Like, I thought,
did the U.S. government hack our podcast?
So
I don't know.
Basically,
on my YouTube channel.
On YouTube, what time was it? You guys
it was
26:43, I think.
No, I think it was 26:43 started at the 26:30 mark.
Yeah, so around 26:30 in our last full episode of the podcast, which you can check out on the channel. There's just a random cut when he's talking, and it skips out on.
Yeah, so we asked the question,
why Texas?
Why Texas, right? We asked, why did this crazy dude from the UK come to the United States and go to this random small synagogue in Texas, in that place? Why? We asked the question, Hamity answers the question, and that about 45 seconds, right, Lige? 45 seconds is just it's in our video. We have the video.
So it's not very long,
but
honestly.
they went in and they literally
edited out
I called the answer.
I called the terrorist whisperer and I said, "Hey man, this is really strange," and people are commenting on it, but at that particular part of the episode, which is really important, why Texas, it literally cuts you out when you answered the question, but it's not on Spotify and iTunes. And he said,
will be soon,
"Hey man,"
when the government watches this episode.
He's like, "I didn't realize that was classified information that wasn't supposed to be given out." And I understand why it's classified information. Like, I get that.
Sure.
Like, now that I know the reason why they cut that out, and listen, like, if you go back and listen to it on Spotify and podcasts or iTunes, wherever you get your podcast, you can hear the answer. It's at like the 26-minute mark.
I think it's 25.
That's 25 on podcast
audio, somewhere in there.
And that's reasonable, right? Like, that's reasonable for the government to say, yeah, let's not put that out why he's in Texas. But where I asked Hamity, what did he think about that? And he said, well, you know what? If they didn't want to use that excuse, right? But if a real terrorist knows that this person is imprisoned in Texas, and then he goes to Texas and that's where he does his hostage situation, well, isn't it basically common knowledge? If some Islamic terrorist from the UK knows where this woman's in prison at, is that not like public knowledge? Especially if this guy's he's a lone wolf, if he's not acting on behalf of any kind of other intelligence. And
Sure.
So then he says, the reason why I don't mind saying that information and putting that out there is because the government or whoever is putting out this narrative of mental health and gun issues and gun policies. And he's like, you can't just denounce the truth and then come up with another agenda. Just say we can't say this at this time because it's classified information. How about that?
Well,
and then move her out of Texas into another prison somewhere.
Well, what's weird is like, it's just funny to me because as soon as I downloaded it from where we live stream from, like the original video, and the video doesn't cut out at all. Yeah, like it doesn't cut out.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for us to prove this to you guys because if you go back and watch the live from our YouTube, it will cut out.
I've never felt more like a nut in my life. Like I am pretty much like anti all this like crazy nutso, everything can be a conspiracy thing. And I'm now like calling, I'm calling underpaid producer and overpaid producer and being like, look, I know somebody didn't go into our YouTube and hack that out. Like I know that. That's just that doesn't happen. That's impossible.
So here's what's crazy is right, like, okay, I get it, right? If there was classified information that somehow is not classified since everybody knows it, right? But if there was classified information that could cause harm to somebody or our nation's security, wouldn't you think that if the government had an issue, they would reach out and they would say, hey, listen, we took this out. Do not talk about this or whatever else, but it's just gone. Who did it? Does the US government have the ability to log into my shit and take it out? Do they have a contact at YouTube? Do they pick up a red phone, Tansey's little red phone there, and call in and say, hey, Frank, you're at the YouTube desk, right? Yep. Hey, go to Mike the Cop's YouTube channel. We need this from this timestamp to this timestamp taken out. Did YouTube do it? I got no emails, no notifications, nothing. They just straight up took free speech content and deleted it. And this is concerning to me, to say the least.
That but the U.S. government on Spotify or iTunes, which
it's still out there on the audio. Out there. But did they not know about it? Are they just is it ignorance at play where they're just like they think it's just a live show and they didn't even realize that they need to do it a little bit more digging? Will after this episode with putting this out there, we title this clip, and then will they go to edit the audio? I don't know. Will they feel like, well, we better stop while we're ahead? It's crazy to realize we're not in control.
Well, I'm kind of curious if you and I were talking about this, if the government just has a contact at YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I said. Do they log in? Do they have the ability to just go in, or do they have to do a pass-through?
Because that's weird.
They can get right access to it. You can set up different ways to access it.
The funny thing is like, okay, and in that case, then why don't you just, because you've deleted episodes in the past of ours.
Yeah, YouTube's taken down entire episodes of ours.
YouTube is taking down entire episodes. Why not just take down that? So do we not like break the one rule? Because that's another thing is that YouTube's not very transparent with us in telling us, when we get suspended for 7 days, what it's for.
Right.
Yeah,
the all-encompassing guidelines.
But now I feel crazy. You know what I mean? Like I told my wife, I was like, I feel like a crazy person. I feel like I don't want to tell people this story because it makes me sound like a crazy person.
Yeah.
But it actually happened to me.
What else are they watching?
And I called the network.
What?
And I said, guys, am I nuts? What's going on here? And the network was like, oh yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happens. And I'm like,
okay.
Does the American people know that this happens? Like, do they know? Yeah. Like, and we're all just okay with that? We're all just like, oh, yeah, shit. They just cut it up, make it sound like whatever they want, baby. Who cares?
Yeah. And so we go around telling people the U.S. government hacked our YouTube, and people are like, yeah, okay. Yeah, like they care about your show. I'm like, hey, I don't know. I'm looking at the evidence right in front of my face. So what gives? I don't know, but it's scary, and we should all be aware that this kind of stuff is going on.
Yeah, and like I went through all the things, right? Like when I was a police officer and somebody says that they have a ghost in their house is haunted. Can you come and look at it? Like I go through all the things of what it could be. It could be a mouse. It could be this. It could be that. Like trying to disprove all of their crazy fantasies about ghosts and things. And oftentimes that's enough. And so with this, that's what I try to do, right? Like I'm trying to be like, okay, well maybe the StreamYard broke. And so underpaid producer's like, nope, StreamYard's good. Just watch the whole thing. Like it doesn't cut out. And I was like, well, maybe it was the audio. Maybe there was something wrong with the audio or we had a glitch. And he's like, nope. He's like, I'm looking at the graphics right here. There was never a glitch that whole entire show. We didn't lose streaming, not 1 second, And so we go through all these things and the only possible explanation is that
Yeah,
somebody went into our YouTube and edited
and
it
people
out.
I don't know if
saying in
is
here,
there a caveat of the Patriot Act here? Do they not need a warrant to reduce my shit?
People are saying in here though that it's the algorithm catching it, like how they would copyrighted content,
right?
But they aren't going to have that keyworded. Like they aren't.
So how do they know for like
if it's classified information? There's no keyword for it.
Also, there's when that stuff happens, YouTube sends you a notification and shuts down the video or tells you that the monetization's off.
Yeah, it tells you that there's a portion of the video that to get it back up, you can cut. It gives you choices. This has happened to me before.
Yeah, no choice. We didn't get a notification.
It'll say
at all.
you can cut this out, or you can delete the video. It gives you a choice. If you put something in your video that's not allowed on YouTube, it sends you an email. It makes it unlisted. It removes it from public view and gives you the choice. Do you want to cut this section out and republish it, put it back up, or do you want to just delete it?
No, they don't mute the audio, Greg. That's not what they do. That's other platforms like Facebook and...
Yeah, it's not muted. It's deleted.
It doesn't usually do that on
The video
YouTube.
was edited.
I mean, it's edited video. I mean, like he goes, the reason I went to Texas is because... And that's why they were into Texas. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they like literally... precisely cut out that individual. And again, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. If we're giving out classified information that we shouldn't be giving out or that we didn't know, and again, it's not on us, we don't know. Well, then I think a little bit of transparency and saying like, hey guys, that's not information that the public is supposed to know. But again, they're not even doing that. What they're doing is just spinning a completely different narrative on this whole thing and calling it mental health crisis and that it's not a terrorist situation and trying to throw some kind of other. And I know I sound like a crazy nut right now. But that's the real deal. And so I talked to the network and I said, hey guys, listen, like this was what happened. And they said, well, do you not remember when we had him on talking about All Soleimani and al-Baghdadi and they dropped the live stream on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. They dropped the whole stream. Like they literally just, as soon as he started talking, they cut it.
Yeah. It may just be the fact that we had Hamidi on and the government follows him and what he says, not us. But either way,
he's Iraq's first American spy. Or America's first Iraqi spy.
Yeah. So it's interesting thing. I don't know what you guys think, but hey, drop in the comments when you see this clip. What do you think's really going on? Do you have any experience with this? Love to hear from you guys on that. We've got a bunch of more news articles to cover, and I'm just going to let Elijah and Jimmy play a little news ping pong here and just throw stuff at us, and we'll look at it and break it down, baby. What do we got? 3 Houston police officers shot in stable condition. Suspect taken into custody following standoff. Dude, there is I can't show it to you because I don't know. I'm not sure if it's public or not. I know some Houston cops and I have some interesting video, but I didn't. In order to, when I got this video, the guy hadn't been caught yet, so I didn't publish it or anything like that. But one of these cops was literally shot in the ankle and still pursues the dude on foot.
Yeah,
what a badass, man! Like you get shot in the ankle and stay in the fight and run after the bad guy. That's awesome. But what really
that's what happens
happened
when you take ivermectin.
I think fueled by hydroxychloroquine. Cop chases after bad guy. No, the crazy thing is, I think what's interesting about this, I don't know if you guys have seen any video, but there's one where the cop exits the patrol vehicle. You can tell shots are being exchanged. Man, I think if someone has already shot at the cops and they're running away, blast that dude in the back.
Yeah, dude. Put 6 rounds right in his back.
That's my big question.
He's still got the gun in his hand. He's going to use that gun to continue.
Why are you chasing him instead of just making him into Swiss cheese from a distance? You know, like
Let me clarify that. If he still has a gun in his hand,
I don't care if he does or not. My personal opinion. This is not a legal recommendation.
I got you. But I would say for a legal recommendation, if you're going to push those limits,
there's different state laws. Personally speaking, you already fired a shot at me. I don't care if you drop the gun. Like let's just make the world a better place. That's my personal opinion. But I get it. Legally, I don't know. Policies and legal boundaries are another issue. But the bad guy is in custody. He gave himself up after a standoff with police. What a coward. Anybody that shoots people and then runs and hides like a little bitch.
It was a domestic, and he was kicking his wife's ass. So obviously not the bravest of humans.
What a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a weak-minded individual.
Sure.
The world is a better place if he was not in it. But all 3 cops are expected to make a recovery.
Wait a minute. Somebody in the comments says Pittsburgh bridge collapses this morning just in time for Joe Biden's arrival. Is that real? Is that real
I have
shit?
no idea. Let's
real news?
breaking news. This just in. I don't
As
know.
Ross Patterson would say.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard. I mean, I've been in the studio like you.
Only we had producers in the studio.
If only we had 2 producers who at any time could look on Google to find out the facts of a situation live. I don't know. Pittsburgh bridge collapses ahead of Biden's city visit to talk infrastructure.
Oh, okay. All right.
What
Now
we know, I can't read that because my eyes are too bad. Even with my
Pittsburgh
glasses.
Fire Bureau Chief Daryl Jones told CNN that the city's bridge collapses Friday morning was a surprise. We do have people go out and inspect the bridges. As you know, Pittsburgh is the city of... Okay, what is the coincidence that when you go to a city to talk about infrastructure and the bridge falls in?
Infrastructure? Like how babies are made?
Well, I'm trying to read and somebody's zooming in and out. So my small, feeble brain is trying to keep up with a lot of things right now. Just hours before President Biden was expected to visit the city on a previously scheduled trip to discuss infrastructure. And as far as the president coming today, how's that for timing? Jones said, I personally hope that he does come and visit. And it's one thing to talk about, and it's another thing to actually see it. I mean, come on, man.
What are the
It's like
chances?
the Big Bang Theory.
Breaking news.
Happening right before our eyes.
That's
like of all the things, of all the bridges and all the worlds, this is the one that falls in. Interesting.
Yeah. If you believe in coincidences, I guess. I don't know. All right. Back to law enforcement news because the bridge is whatever.
Yeah, who cares? That's a firefighter problem.
That's not a cop problem. All right. Working Families Party declares war on police unions after killing of NYPD cops. I don't even understand that headline.
The reason why I brought this up is, one, what is this Working Families Party?
I don't know what that is.
Well, and that's the funny thing is too, there's like, now we're having to kind of hide what we really are under some kind of like obscure wording to confuse you. This is just very far left.
And feelings.
Very far left. Working Families.
Is this an official party
garbage.
In the government? What
it is, and it's headed up by
that
AOC.
Sounds communist.
This is an AOC thing. It's the Democratic Socialist Party that runs this. Yeah, and they're calling on to get rid of these. And so even the reason why I brought this up is I thought it's funny is because like even moderate leftists or even just left wing liberals are saying like, yo, this is ridiculous. You can't say this shit. So like, this is really bad. Like just in time, like, we've got the whole thing going on with the mayor de Blasio and all these things. And now you're going to bring this up. At this point, they're just trying to kind of stir the pot to get their eyes on them as a entity, as like this new party that's coming up. But it was a fun article to read. It's so ridiculous.
So what does it say?
You can bring it back up there if you want. It's really not that important. We spent so much time on other things that one
amid
was just
cops being shot and killed by violent parolees, the left-wing Working Families Party, which claims to fight for the interest of blue-collar workers, has declared war on the unions representing uniformed officers. It's pressuring candidates who seek their endorsement in 2022 electors to shun support from law enforcement unions representing beat cops and correction officers, as revealed by the party's 2022 candidate questionnaire, which was obtained by The Post.
Right. And if you scroll way down and read some of the questions from the questionnaire,
working class.
Right. But if you scroll down and look at some of the questions, they're just outrageous. And honestly, I'm more embarrassed that we're even kind of reporting on this news because it's just so over the top. It just
will
seemed
you
at the
fight
time fun.
to ensure that there are no further rollbacks to bail reform? Why wouldn't we want to roll back bail reform? It has been a nightmare. All it's led to is people that are benefiting from bail reform committing more rapes and murders. Like, this is undeniable fact. Like, all it's done is enable criminals.
I think for this, it's like all they want to do is get rid of the union because the union fights for the middle class. I mean, there's a lot of things I disagree with about unions.
The painful irony in a working family party being anti-union is just so laughable to me on its face. When you talk about the working party, the middle class, the blue collar guy, you know, the ones where the politicians show up and put on a hard hat and roll up their sleeves and pretend like they understand the common man's struggle. It's laughable to me that you would throw police unions under the bus who are trying to protect normal middle class workers. It's silly. It's silly on its face. I don't understand that. Rihanna, next headline. This comes from Fox Business. It comes from Fox Business, man. Hey, you guys seen that articles in Fox Business? Mike Tyson reads the news. What does it say?
Rihanna
and Jack Dorsey team up to defund the police groups.
Yep. Yeah.
What do we got? Can you read that,
Which
Tansey?
has Rihanna been relevant since the release of her perfume?
I don't think she's been relevant since she got punched in the face.
Kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because her perfume sucked, by the way.
That is not a support of
ruined my
domestic
Valentine's
violence.
Day, circa 2013. Got the Rihanna perfume for my wife for Valentine's Day, and
it was just her.
Why?
It's still full.
Why did you get that?
It was packaged nicely.
Is that how you choose your wine too?
Sometimes.
Good God, look at this. We are proud to commit $15 million to 18 organizations working intersectionally on climate justice across the
Climate
US
justice.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What if you took that $15 million and actually started businesses with people who were interested in doing good things in their community?
Yeah.
Like imagine that. Imagine if you invested in people.
Well, I have resting bitch face if I've ever seen one. My God.
I don't know.
Yeah, again, who is Rihanna? Never heard of her.
Yeah, they're funding people that want to
shit?
abolish the police entirely.
But I'm glad Rihanna is like who they found as to be the face of this. Like they couldn't find anybody more relevant than Rihanna.
Did you notice that they also managed to loop in climate?
Yeah, climate justice.
Defunding the police and climate change or
climate justice.
Yeah, climate justice.
Racism is caused by changing climate,
Well,
climate justice. Don't even get me started on that nonsense. Crazy talk. But yeah, defunding the police and oh my gosh, trying to break unions, all with dollars that could be used for other things in the community that they supposedly care about. What do we got next, Lodge? Oh, this is a local story. Highland Park. Highland Park is a little like I think it's a square mile and a half little city inside the city of Detroit. There's two. There's Highland Park and there's Hamtramck. They're like inside the city limits, but they're their own little place. And the headline reads from Fox 2 Detroit: Highland Park detective pleads guilty to dealing fentanyl-laced heroin.
Yeah, what the world? And she looks like a nice woman, like a motherly figure.
Yeah, it says Detective Tiffany Lipkovich, 46 of Detroit, and Amber Bellamy, 38 of Detroit, pleaded guilty to conspiring to distribute controlled substances. Lipkovich has been a police officer since 2011, so she's had 11 years to perfect her criminal activity under the color of law. Lipkovich and Bellamy both face a maximum of 40 years in prison for the charge to which they pled guilty. According to the complaint, federal agents recorded numerous calls and meetings between Lipkovich and a confidential source about a drug transaction. Lipkovich gave the source, quote, samples or pictures of the drugs that were available from her associate, explaining that one was $80 a gram and the other was $100 per gram. When asked what they were diluting or cutting the drugs with, the confidential source responded that people used fentanyl. This did not surprise Lipkovich, who explained that Bellamy was getting a, quote, package of fentanyl from overseas. Wow. So they have been caught, and she was on duty in uniform conducting these, and there is nothing worse than a corrupt cop. But that's what you get. You want to take away standards. You want to defund the police. You want to get the police department that you want when you support defunding and reducing training and the quality of candidates. You get people like Lipkovich who deal fentanyl while they're on duty.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that tarnishes the badge, and I'm not talking about with like a moral dilemma, but when it is acute, when it is a definite, you're really fucked up. Mm-hmm. There's no coming back for that, man. Throw them under the bridge.
Put them on that bridge in Philly.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh. Where was
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
I mean,
it's all the same.
I can't. I don't tolerate it. I mean, if you're a cop and you're out there and you know that you're doing the wrong thing, if you know you're selling fentanyl, or you know you're raping somebody, or sexually abusing, or stalking, or doing anything,
Yeah.
that you know you shouldn't be doing while you're wearing the badge, shame on you, man. You know, put one in the old chamber and put the back of your brains on the.
Yeah, that department
on the
is
drywall for us.
notorious for having corrupt officers. They're like the island of misfit cops, and they have a very terrible, terrible reputation locally. It's not that every cop that goes there is bad. There's a lot of reasons why you may be there, but we're talking like, it's a crap place to work for. But that's exactly what's going to happen to many, many departments across this country. I get that there are issues in our criminal justice system that need to be addressed. Most of them don't. It doesn't start at the bottom. It starts at the top, and it trickles down. It's a whole conversation. But if you reduce the benefits and the qualifications, and you put unrealistic expectations on people, in that case, you're going to get more and more corruption, more and more weakness, more and more lack of ability to have common sense and discernment and discretion on the job that is super beneficial. And guys, like Eric, you said, tarnish the badge. That badge does not represent the government. That badge represents your integrity. That badge represents your commitment to the principles of law and order in the context of a free society.
Yeah, I've always thought that they should put your name, like your personal name, should be on your badge, because that badge also represents the shield that you personally stand behind. And if you're going to be standing behind a shield of lies and of corruption, that's your name that they're taking away from you. They should be taking away your name. You shouldn't even be, when they take the badge away from you because you've tarnished it, you tarnished your name as well. Yeah. I think it is one of the more gross things that you can do in the world. It's, I put it right up there with priests diddling children. Terrible thing. Yeah. And they should also put their brains on the drywall. Same with cops who knowingly tarnish the badge.
Oh, here's a law enforcement related story from Russia. Look this up. We'll keep talking about other ones, but this one popped into my head. It crossed my radar yesterday. I was actually listening to Real AF with Andy Frisella, and they brought this up in an episode where a guy was discovered that his friend had molested his 6-year-old daughter. He found evidence on his friend's phone, and he took him out into the woods, made him dig his own grave, and then stabbed him to death. And in the Russian courts, they've reworked the charges to where he'll likely never face any jail time, and that's how it should be. But look that up. If you can find it, great. If you can't, we'll move on. I just mentioned it. Look into that story if we can't find it. But what else do we got?
Interesting.
Next headline.
Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Dad who made pedo pal dig own grave for abusing daughter won't face murder charges. Yeah, he stabbed him like how many times? I can't read any of that, so I don't know how many times.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you see a video of that going on, like put that into crime of passion, right? Because if I see a video of somebody doing something like, that's all the evidence you ever need, right?
Yeah, a distraught father who attacked his best friend. This is in Russia, when he discovered the man had sexually abused his daughter. Then age 6 is not to be charged with murder. So Slava, who is 34, was suspected of stabbing Oleg, 32, to death in the forest. He was alleged to have killed him after making the sex offender dig his own grave. Found dead. Sickening and graphic footage of his friend's mobile phone, which showed forcing his daughter to perform sex acts on him. He originally faced a murder investigation, but that has been dropped now. And his defense has always been that he made him dig his own grave. He admitted to that. I made him dig his own grave, but he fell on the knife 30-some times. In a landmark decision.
Hey, look, if Trudeau can like beat around the bush.
In a landmark decision, he will now face prosecution for inciting suicide, which carries a lesser sentence than murder. Russia, I don't know what's going on in the Ukraine, but right now your criminal justice system is my hero.
Yeah.
Because that guy.
It sounds like Hillary Clinton's lawyers.
A petition signed by 2,500 people demanded that he should be fully acquitted. Hell yeah, brother. That is the solution. That is the solution. I don't know. Period.
I'm all in.
You mess with a kid because what jogged this was you talking about priests diddling kids. You mess with a kid, the only solution to your existence is to end it. That's it.
Feed the
End
worms,
of story.
baby.
That's it. That's what the law should be. That's what it should. That period. And I saw the story. Officer Daniels sent it to me the other day about a guy, a special needs female. I don't know what the extent of her mental state was, but she got her own place, right, like her own apartment, and a guy in the complex raped her. And I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I mean, maybe this is good that I'm not a cop anymore because I have this opinion. I don't know, but I feel the right solution is to publicly castrate him and then drag him through the streets and then finish the job.
Manscaped his balls off.
Yeah, permanently manscape him.
Get that lawnmower.
Lawnmower, like
the one that's
not
for
the lawnmower
4.0,
an actual lawnmower. And then just run over him with it.
You bury him. They bury him in the mud with like just his twig and berries, like sitting above, and then his face above it, and then you just
mow it over. Yeah, bury him and then mow it over.
Oh God, I can feel
for
that.
all to see. That's the only solution. Immediate death to anyone convicted of child molestation.
Put that on
period.
Put that on a movie. Something go down that way. Whoa.
A vigilante who goes after
lawn mows them,
kids.
Like
yes,
like a Saw movie. But they call it.
Let's
mower.
write it.
They call it Sling Blade. I'm just kidding.
All right.
What's the next one?
What's another headline here? Eric, you got this one. Read it to me.
Okay.
Let me know what's going on. What happened?
Put it up.
Put it up. That's what she said.
Police officer completed a DoorDash order after arresting delivery driver. And I have a funny story about that, which one, kudos to that cop, right? Like that's real community policing.
What was that? Sioux Falls, Idaho? Yeah.
And I love that. I actually had to serve a warrant on a dude that was working at Sonic. And I went into Sonic and I snuck up behind him because I knew he was going to try to run from me. And the manager, I could see him in the drive-through. And the manager, I was like, hey, so-and-so is working. I already knew because corporate already told me he was working. It was on the schedule and he had clocked in. So I knew the guy was there. And so I'm at the door and the manager sees me and I'm like, hey, I need so-and-so. You can go ahead and bring him to me. And the manager was like, no, I'm not doing that. You're not welcome here. You can't come in. So I moved him aside and I walked behind the counter as he was leaning out. I put both hands on him and yoked him up, and the guy's hand like has a handful of cash. The person in the drive-thru is just looking up at him, and I put him in handcuffs, and I said, hand that young lady her money. Hand her change. He hands it to her, and she's like, thank you. And I was like, put your other hand behind your back and handcuff. And I was like, man, have a nice day. Enjoy your number 3 or whatever.
Enjoy the beautiful Sonic ice that we have here for you. You know, Let's play that video if you guys haven't seen it. It's a quick little thing. Got some Arby's in his hand.
Who eats Arby's?
No, I'm not who you're expecting, but your driver got arrested for things he had to take care of. So I figured I'd complete the DoorDash for you. Take care. Thanks.
Hell yeah, brother. Get that Arby's out. Yeah. I respect that dude. That's a guy that genuinely looks out for other people. He saw that Arby's in that guy's car and is like, hey, you know what? This is a priority. We got to get it. We got to get it to the right place.
We know the guy was like, you can't arrest me. I'm DoorDashing. I'm working right now. Yeah, and he was like, oh, you're DoorDashing right now? Well, that's all right. We'll take care of that for you, bud. We don't want you to get fired.
Congrats to you, sir. Congrats to you. Good job. That's the way to serve with
what a great Arby's ad. Like Arby's should go and give that cop because one, I didn't know that people still eat Arby's.
That cop has the meats.
He has the beef. Is that what they have? That's what Arby's is known for, the beef, right?
That was Wendy's. Where's the beef? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Question, how many? Yeah, he definitely had some bag fries on the road. Oh, yeah. Bag fries are the best fries, first of all.
I arrested a dude that had Wendy's in his car, and I reached in that bag.
I definitely ate a slice of pizza confiscated before from somebody I arrested. I had a whole hot pizza left, and I ate
these fries.
I did it.
Help myself.
Feels good to get that off my chest.
help myself. Have you ever stolen a pen from an employer?
No, but I have
No.
stolen I have stolen a piece of pizza from an arrestee.
Did take a handful of fries out of a dude's Wendy's bag. Wendy's has good fries. A little oversalted at times, but good
Oh my
nonetheless.
gosh! How many
All
more?
right.
How many more news stories do we have?
I think we got
You
like
know?
2.
I don't know. A couple more.
2 good ones.
Go ahead.
Burglar lady shot after breaking into deputy's home. Family declares shooting is unjustified.
Wait,
Now,
what?
I do think this is strange, right? So this guy, this police officer comes home. Somebody is actively breaking into the house. If you go all the way to the bottom of this article, because that's the only thing I need to read after that. And the guy takes off running from this house. Now the cop gives chase in his car, chases the guy in his car. The other guy jumps out of his car down a long dirt road. They both run into the woods. A scuffle ensues. The cop's ankle is injured, and the cop subsequently shoots the suspect. So this is what his wife Motanique has to say.
He's an all-around good dude.
He's just an all-around good person who would help anyone. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
what do you?
he would help anyone by helping
you
himself
need a
to
new
my
watch?
shit in the house.
You need a new watch? I'll get you a new watch. I'll get you the jacket off of my neighbor's back when I go to this house and break in. Go back down. Hang on. Somebody's scrolling this thing too fast. To know him, go one more. Here we go. To know him is to love him. He was no stranger to anybody, she added.
Yeah, he introduced himself
Motanique
to
said
that
that her
deputy, all right.
family wants to know what happened prior to her uncle. Oh, it's her uncle being shot. Nobody's perfect. We know that, she said. But I need to know, was his shooting justified? I get it. Motanique has set up a fundraiser seeking $15,000 to help pay for Sutton's funeral expenses.
No donations have been made.
Then she says, this shooting was unjustified and police killing has to stop, she wrote. Please help my family. No donations have been made during this fundraiser as of Thursday morning. Okay, so now if you keep going down, is that the end of it?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
missed the one.
This
So I just
case
want
has
to
been
speak.
handed over to Fulton County. That's
But you know what? Like,
hey, how
if you
about
are a
don't break
cop-
into people's shit and don't be
Sure.
like why are you surprised that you got shot when you
Right.
broke into someone's home?
Yeah.
Why?
I also I don't know. Maybe Mike, what would you do? You come home
I'd shoot
from
him.
your shift.
I'd kill him.
and He's running out the door with a TV.
I'd run after him and kill him.
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I'm not willing to shoot a dude over a TV and risk
I am.
going to jail for 22 years.
I don't know that he's there for my TV. Maybe he's there for my kids.
He's
leaving that in my mind to make up.
I feel like it's dependent on.
I don't trust the jury enough.
I'll kill the jury.
Jesus, God. And there goes the YouTube feeds.
trial one day.
I know I'd kill the jury's family to intimidate them, and then they'd know they'd be sitting in that box and looking at me and know I did it.
This is a joke. YouTube.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
This is comedy. Let's not be serious here.
This is comedy. Was that a recipe?
I don't know. I think at that point, I'll just be a good witness. If I come home and my family wasn't there, if my family was home, it would be a different story. But it doesn't sound in this story.
You know what the story would be?
that the parents-
Mine,
that
because
there
there
was
would be
any
no
family
other
there.
stories.
This cop
I would
was
be the one.
probably
I would
upset
tell
that-
the beginning, the middle, and the end of any story of someone coming into my house.
This cop sounds like he was just mad that he's divorced and his children decided to live with the mom instead. So I'm just kidding, by the way.
So this next story is about all the officers being overworked in Portland and their exit interview statements.
Oh, okay. Let's see that. We'll end it here. Hit her that like button.
I want to talk about there's the last thing I want to talk about for sure. Don't let me forget is those stats that I sent you from the Humanizing the Badge page. Oh, I got it. I want to talk about that, but let's hit this. Go for it, boys.
The only difference between PPB and the Titanic. I don't know. You got to read it. I can't read it.
The only difference is
okay,
between,
the headline is Portland Police Exit Interview Statements. So, where are these statements? 31 exit interviews, the employees who turned in their badges or retired were brutally frank about their reasons for getting out. This is amazing. I love this. Okay, read that again. So now I have the context.
The only difference is between Portland Police Department and the Titanic: deck chairs and a band.
Yeah, but who's got the deck chairs in the band? The police or the Titanic?
This is our YouTube clip. This is one of them right here. Like we need to just read these statements on our failure to stop YouTube, which you guys can find and subscribe to, by the way.
The lack of real decisive communication from the 15th floor is as bad as I've seen in my 22 and a half years at PBB. Most of the leaders are intimidated by the police will of City Hall and cannot separate policing and politics. This is the beginning to some of the worst times this agency had ever been in. Like, that wasn't funny. That's just brutally clear and concise.
Up the reality.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Love it.
A budget that showed the community valued what the members of PPB do every day. Budget cuts, unit cuts that put the community at risk made working for Portlanders feel like a waste of effort. Wow. Yeah.
No, that cat can't spell.
Yeah, that guy needed to retire because I hate to be the sergeant approving those reports. Wow. Sorry, dude. You can't.
It's actually the Portland Police Bureau. That's
Portland Police
called.
Bureau.
Okay.
Yeah, PPB.
Look at the questions too. So, like question 6, what makes your future employer position more attractive than the police bureau? No threats of defunding. No more worries of city leaders who want to change the way IAD functions. What's that? IAD?
Internal Affairs Division.
Oh.
Yeah, IA.
What factors would have enticed you to stay longer with the Portland Police Bureau? As long as city leaders continue to push massive cuts to the police budget, nothing would entice me to stay.
Nothing would entice me to stay. Let's get one more in here.
Anything else?
You can
Anything else you wish? Anything else you wish to tell us? I was licking on them balls.
Yeah, how about lick my bow?
Yeah, what a great. Yeah, I suffer from ligma. All right. Anything else you wish to tell us? I loved working for the police bureau. You have amazing leaders, and I really enjoyed my job. I have nothing but respect for the bureau members. It's a shame what's happening right now. Well, that's what? Why did they put that in there? That was licking their balls. I can't read these. There's equal. I don't know. Go back down to the next. Anything else you wish to tell us?
No, this one's good. What factors would have enticed you to stay longer with Portland Police Bureau? A stronger chief.
Nice.
You know what else would entice me? You know what else?
What? He's cracking himself up over there.
Yeah, he loves that one.
What else? Jimmy? Did Jimmy
anything
die?
Anything else you wish to tell us? The leadership of the bureau has changed. As an older person, seniority, not age, I felt like there was no longer any folks to look up to or trust like I had most of my career.
Interesting.
Again, just kind of like,
yeah, good job, Portland.
Where have all the cowboys gone?
Where have all the cowboys gone?
To Texas. Remember Maxine Waters?
Oh, yeah,
Cowboys.
The Maxine Waters, yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, congrats, Portland, for having a lot of people quit. And this is the trend right now, right? Good people, good leadership are leaving. Okay, last one. What factors would have enticed you to stay longer? None. Portland has become a cesspool.
That should be just a shirt. Like, that should be a shirt.
Oh my gosh. We have, unfortunately, the news that the 2 officers in NYPD that were shot, both have passed away. So our condolences to the family, to the department. Mm-hmm. But listen, I am challenged regularly on the fact that there's not a war on police. When I say that, I will invariably get responses back like, you're imagining that, the numbers don't match up. We have some numbers for you just to put in perspective of what cops are going through. This is on Humanizing the Badge officials' Instagram. A historic 346 police officers were shot in the line of duty in 2021. 63 of whom were killed. According to the National Fraternal Order of Police, which represents more than 346,000 U.S. law enforcement officers, the number of officers shot in the line of duty last year is up from 312 officers shot in 2020, 47 of whom were killed, and 293 shot in 2019, 50 of whom were killed, according to FOP analysis. Each and every year, more and more officers are being shot at and more are being killed in the line of duty by gunfire. This is a disturbing trend. Of course, that trend does go up and down over the years, but right now it is headed up. And so scary times, I think, in terms of like, we see it, Portland officers leaving, NYPD officers leaving, Chicago officers leaving. Major cities across this country are losing the best in that field.
I think we're also starting to
they're tired of it.
I think we're also starting to see this swinging of the pendulum. So if you are thinking about being a cop, I think now is the time to be a cop, because it's going to suck for another year or two, but it's only going to get better from here because it can't get any worse.
Yeah.
Right. It can't get worse than this. So you're actually going to have your whole career as an upswing going forward. Because they always say that this it's like a pendulum swinging. And right now the pendulum has gone so far the other way for so long that it has to go back the other way. And departments are getting more aggressive chiefs. They're starting to refund the police. We see a couple of these cities we talked about on other episodes. So I think overall, Florida, Texas, a lot of these guys are really ramping up and doing some really great things in recruiting. See somebody in the comments talking about the Florida police putting recruiting billboards up in Chicago. Classic. But yeah, Tuesday we have a big show. Is that live? Is that going to be a live show?
Yep, we're going to be live Tuesday night at 8 p.m. We are going to have Brandon Tatum on.
Yes.
The Officer Tatum. He's got a new book out called Beaten Black and Blue. If you guys haven't heard of Officer Tatum, I would be surprised if you pay attention to law enforcement content. I've watched. I was there when Brandon got his start, and he has grown insane, and he's done some amazing things in his space and with his mission. And we're going to hear about his experience and his take on modern policing Tuesday night. We'll do a little roll call episode with you guys Tuesday night, and we will have B. Tatum on. So join us then, and you'll catch the audio the next day when it comes out if you can't make it live. But pretty excited. Next Friday, we have a federal, I'll tease it a little bit. We have a guy that has worked for the feds that was a whistleblower, and we're going to have him on. We'll announce next week who that's going to be, but I want to tease that out. So next Friday's show, we already have a guest lined up. So next week is all guests. We've been doing some breakdowns, been doing some news. We're going to shift a little bit, head to a couple episodes with guests and have some good conversations. Really excited about it.
Yeah, we also need to hammer that like button. But go and follow our other Failure to Stop YouTube channel, just in case this one gets deleted and taken down again. That way we have a backup and you'll know what's going on. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. It's Failure to Stop. You can also go to failure.stop.com. All of our merch is currently out as we are searching.
Everyone that is watching on YouTube, hit the like button.
Please
Sorry,
do.
I stepped all over you.
We'll get swag going again. We're going to go with a bigger, a better company. Mike was actually just meeting with somebody in Arizona working on that. So all those things are coming. And again, thank you, Ghostbed, and thank you, Manscaped. We went balls deep this episode. Yep, balls deep this episode. Anything else, Mike, before we say our goodbyes?
No, that's it, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate the Wolfpack as always.
Najkin?
Everybody.
I never know how to say this guy's name.
We appreciate any of the super chats as well. Thank you so much. We love you guys, and we can't stop, won't stop. We'll see you next time.